Hey guys, in this video I'm going to speak on the concept of reality. Okay, so I was going through WhatsApp status yesterday. So a friend of mine made a post, and this is the content of the video of the status. So there was this lady who was talking about how young people now have this aspirational pressure that forces them to compare themselves with people who are way above them in terms of career or life or age, comparing their present results with the result of people who are way ahead of them, and then discarding the processes it took them to get to that level. Okay, so that was just the content of the message. Then she gave an example. So this example I'm about to give you was the example that caused an argument or a discussion between me and my friend who posted the video. So the lady in the post, that is the video now, she said that one of her mentee in ministry, okay, organized the conference, and then the mentee was dissatisfied with the results. So she was like, nobody came for the conference. So her mentor now asked her, how many people came? She said 104 persons came for the conference. Then her mentor was like, wow, that's a good result. And then the mentee said no, that she booked a 1,000 seater auditorium for the conference, and then it's only 100 and something persons that came up. So she felt like she failed and it doesn't make sense. So her mentor in the video was explaining how her mentee is shooting too high, like she's trying to fast track her results instead of building slowly and building consistently. So that was the whole goal. I understand the message. But here is what broke the camel's back. So my friend was like, she was shooting. She was not being realistic. Yeah, that was the word. She was not being realistic. That is the mentee. So now I was telling my friend, what does it mean for someone to be realistic? If I shoot for, like, let me say, my goal this year is to make $10 million, and at the end of the year I was able to make let's say $500,000. Okay, from $10 million I'm only making 500,000. Does that mean that my plan was unrealistic because I failed? Okay, so judging reality based on somebody's results is totally not, doesn't make sense. What I mean here is, okay, let's use the mentee now, the lady who organized a 1,000 seater crusade, for example, 1,000 seater conference. Okay, so does that mean that her getting a 1,000 seaters, and then at the end of the day she was only able to get 100 people to attend? Does that mean she's shooting below, or she's shooting above her level? Does that mean she's being unrealistic because she got a lower result? It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, judging people's level based on their results sometimes does not really work. It's not a good measure to say this is realistic or this is not realistic. Okay, one thing I believe, and here is it. One thing I believe is reality is perception. It's a personal perception. So your reality may be different from mine. Okay, so I've had some colleagues who started web development, and in the first 2 months of their beginning web development as a web developer, they got a job. Within 6 months, they're already scaled higher than someone that that started a year ago or 2 years ago. You get? So for someone starting a career in tech and becoming employable in 3 months is very unrealistic. And I'm not saying that because it's me, it's actually very hard. Okay, so but for someone else that is a good result. Okay, so now that brings me to the point that what we think is reality, or what we think is realistic, is just a limitation of our personal belief. Okay, there is nothing unrealistic about a person making $10 million. a year, first year, is not realistic. The goal there is to find something that you can do that can get you that. And it's not as hard as you think to find those ideas. It may be hard to implement, but it's not hard. So even when I was having this back and forth conversation with my friend about if the mentee was doing something above her level, you see, one other thing I believe is the so-called aspirational pressure is what drives innovation. The desire to want to attain something faster, quicker, not just cutting processes, but making the processes faster, smoother for yourself. I believe the goal of mentorship is for our mentors to teach us to do things that they did in 5 years, for us to do it in 2 years. That's the goal of mentorship. Most of the mentors and instructors I follow online, there's this way they frame their word. Knowing what I know now, this is what I would do to achieve success faster. Okay, because I believe that they have made some mistakes, experimented a lot along the way. So just because it took someone 10 years to achieve a result, that doesn't mean it necessarily takes 10 years to achieve that result. It may be because the person must have felt along the way, experimented. With that knowledge that person have now, I believe the person can easily give another person a blueprint to achieve that thing he or she achieved in 10 years in a shorter time period. You get? So this issue of reality is a limitation we set in our mind. A software company that was bought by OpenAI, the guys that are in charge of ChatGPT, they bought Winsoft. Winsoft is a software for writing code. If you're a programmer, you will know about this. So they launched, and in less than a year, they sold to OpenAI for $3 billion. B, like B for ball. Like, that was a massive sell. And if you ask anyone, that's a very unrealistic target. Okay, so it's not even being able to create that kind of app in a very short, in months, and being able to sell it at that price is shocking. There have been people who have broken what people call realistic. Okay, so something being realistic is just someone's limitation on a particular concept. Okay, so if I say that it's impossible to run a marathon in, let's say, I don't know, 10 minutes or anything. Okay, now what I'm judging that result with is based on the previous marathon that people have actually done. Okay, so if somebody has done more than 10 minutes, I would say, oh, maybe 10 minutes is not realistic because I haven't seen anybody that have done it. Okay, but that doesn't mean it's not possible. It just means someone else has not done it. Okay, we have seen in races people breaking what we think was a human limitation, or the highest limit humans can reach. Usain Bolt, he broke his record like 3 times. So the essence of this video is for you to rethink what you think about reality, okay, and not to limit yourself. Even if someone have not achieved what you want to achieve, if you believe it and then do the extra thing needed to be done, yeah, you can achieve it. So think on what you are thinking on, and please don't limit yourself with what you think is a reality. If what you think is, in fact, the simple way to break your limitation is whatever you think is a reality, or whatever you think is realistic, find someone who has broken through that. Yes, there's nothing new. If you think I'm using money for an example now. If you think making let's say you are making 300k per month, and now you want to make 10 million per month within 6 months. Now, to some persons that is unrealistic, and that may be true. So the best way to break through that is find someone. You mustn't even find them personally. Go online. You will see people who have broken that. That will reinforce to you that it is highly possible to achieve this thing that you think is impossible. Okay, so that is one of the best ways to break through your limitation. Find someone else that have done it, and that will give you that will give you a perception to what that will give you a perception to a different reality which you can grab and make it yours. Okay, so thank you guys. This video was not really organized, but hopefully I thank you for listening through, and yeah, bye.